Professor Stavros Malas, president of the Cyprus Institute, gave a lecture on May 7th, during which he outlined the profile of the Institute, a non-profit academic center focusing on science and technology. Hosted by the Federation of Cypriot American Organizations in a private setting in Manhattan before leading members of Greek Cypriot American organizations, the event commenced with video messages from three distinguished professors: Ernest Moniz, former U.S. Secretary of Energy; C.L Max Nikias, former president of the University of Southern California; and Pastides, former president of the University of South Carolina. All three highlighted and praised the Cyprus Institute for its important contributions to science and technology research. There were introductory and welcoming remarks from Kyriakos Papastylianou, president of the Federation of Cypriot American Organizations, followed by a short video overview about the Cyprus Institute, and greeting messages from Michalis Firillas, Consul General of Cyprus in New York, and Bishop Nektarios of Diokleia, representing Archbishop Elpidophoros of the Greek Archdiocese in America. Using slides throughout his lecture, Professor Malas offered an in-depth description of the 5 specialized multidisciplinary research centers the Cyprus Institute is involved in. Founded in 2007, it operates under the Cyprus Research and Educational Foundation. Governed by a distinguished board of directors, its research centers were developed in collaboration with leading international institutes. They include research areas in energy, environment, water, science and technology, archaeology and culture, computation-based science and technology, climate and atmosphere, and science and technology-driven policy and innovation. The Cyprus Institute is also an accredited degree-granting institution of higher education that offers high-quality master's and PhD programs to select students from around the world, while also providing training in research. Professor Malas, who gave similar lectures in other states targeting American universities, was on a visit exploring opportunities to establish a U.S.-based nonprofit foundation. Through access to diverse funding and enhanced collaborations with U.S. universities, this foundation aims to amplify the global footprint and impact of the Cyprus Institute. In the AKTINA TV exclusive, which follows, Professor Stavros Malas explains further about his quest in the U.S.A. to achieve this goal.
Professor Malas, what a pleasure to meet you. You're in the United States to promote the Cyprus Institute.
Right.
In what way?
Well, first of all, I'm here to really show that in Cyprus, which is a very small country, over the last 30 odd years, we've done enormously good research, and we developed very competitive research institutes, including the Cyprus Institute. We have developed universities, and compared to other European countries, Cyprus researchers are the most competitive researchers in Europe. So I'm here in the United States just to tell the diaspora that that little country has created some of the most competitive research programs and institutions. And if you really want to help, like the example of Israel, for instance, this is an area that we need to invest. Research creates institutions that are international, more international than they are. It creates a linkage, and the linkage with the United States for us is really strategic because you have innovation-driven science in this country. But it also makes the country and the people in the society more confident. Small countries will not grow more than they are geographically. They will never become superpowers, but they can grow in size and essentially in influence if they develop science. In other words, they generate new knowledge and they export the knowledge. That's what I'm here for.
However, was tonight the right platform to address this issue, or are you addressing other platforms as well in the wider New York area?
Well, I have been to many universities, first of all, because I'm here to establish strategic collaborations. So I've talked to Columbia University, MIT, the University of Illinois, University of Southern California, and UCLA in Los Angeles. So I spoke to these institutions, to really establish this partnership. So first of all, we need to find the partners.
Right.
And there.
Where do you think you can find partners? Is it the American government or is it individuals?
No, first of all, the partners are the institutions.
Okay.
So we need institutions to collaborate with to expand our research portfolio. That's number one. Number two, we need the money to do it.
Right.
So we're hoping to establish here an institute.
Show me the money, right?
That's right. We're hoping to establish here a foundation, a non-for-profit foundation, where people can give money.
501c3, right?
That's right. Where people can give. It's not an endowment, by the way. This is just money spent for research.
Okay.
So we want to do that because a lot of people want to help. But
let me just put a little parenthesis, because when people hear research, they get sort of terrified because sometimes research leads to wrong pathways. So.
Well, research can lead to wrong pathways if you take the wrong pathway.
Right.
So we do research for the good of humanity.
Okay.
And if politicians decide to take research in a different direction, then it's up to them to do it. So researchers themselves do not decide to take research in that direction. It's only the politicians that do that. Research is a peace-building also way. For instance, I'll tell you in Cyprus, we live in a region where there is a lot of conflict. Recently, we organized a very high-level event, and we brought Israelis and Arabs together, scientists, and they collaborate to meet common challenges. So we find it as also a pacifying instrument in many ways.
Now, I know that in Cyprus you got very, very good brains because, it all starts from the family, and the average family in Cyprus wants their children to get educated.
Right.
However, those brains then don't stay in Cyprus.
That's correct.
They immigrate, and then now Cyprus, specifically the president, Christodoulidis, is trying to bring all this talent back.
Right.
But there are so many challenges in Cyprus. As far as bureaucracy, you have solar that doesn't work.
Right.
How do you bring all this together?
Well, you need to invest in people.
Right.
Now, to bring scientists back to a country, it's very easy. And many countries have done. And it's one thing that doesn't actually get stopped by bureaucracy. Now, our institution, for instance, is a very versatile organization. If we get extra funding, we bring researchers back. But you need to bring them back and keep them. Now, what this country has done, it has attracted all the talent from across the world.
Yes.
So why have the people decided to stay in the U.S.A?
Because
there are opportunities.
Yes.
Now, if you don't create jobs, then if you don't invest in research, then you're never going to get these people back. Now, I can give you some metrics. Cyprus has the lowest number, the second lowest number of researchers per million population. But it has the most competitive researchers in Europe. So the few researchers that exist in Cyprus are doing an excellent job.
That's why I said
So if
we
you
have
get
brain.
so if you get more, they will do an even better job because and the growth of the economy will actually accelerate faster. So research is a way to accelerate the transition to what we call knowledge-based economy.
Right.
Knowledge-based economy is not accelerated if you're having a very large banking sector that puts a lot of money and you build houses. That's really for subsistence. This is up and down. You need to invest in research and use knowledge to develop new products and innovation to develop quality jobs. That's what this country has been great about.
Yes.
And I hope it remains great, by the way.
It will.
By the challenges, I'm sure the resilience of the American people. So I'm here really to, this collaboration is not only just to raise money, but we want our researchers, our young researchers, our budding researchers, as we call them, to come and get exposed more and more to the American system, particularly the universities I mentioned, those that are innovation-driven, the entrepreneurial universities, the ones that create good scientists, but also good entrepreneurs. That culture is really fundamental to be cultivated within an ecosystem, and this is what we're here for.
Finally, I know you once ran for President of Cyprus.
Twice.
Twice?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so considering all these ideas you have and your involvement with the Cyprus Institute and the fact that we do have talent but we lose our talent,
Right.
why do you think the Cypriot system is so bad, and so bad that it cannot be fixed?
Right. Okay. Well, no, it can be fixed, but you just need to establish where the problem is. The problem has been actually showcased. We had one of the highest banking sectors in the world. A banking sector, if you have a very large banking sector, then you're driving the economy into areas that are unrelated to innovation. You're driving the economy into areas that are generating quick win, but not a longer sustainability. So, and I want to stress that growth is not equivalent to prosperity. You can have growth, but statistically you can have an unprosperous country, because it depends which way the growth is. So this is very important to appreciate. So we still have the 7th largest banking sector in the world. But nevertheless, I hope we've learned, because it shrunk. It was 900%, and now it's 157. Now is the time to invest not in what I call the serendipity model of an economy, but the knowledge-based economy. And this is a challenge. The mistakes of the past must really teach us how to take the right path. And I'm sure that I'm here to. I showed you the metrics, and the metrics have not been evident to anybody in this audience that this country, the small country of Cyprus, has a tremendous resilience and opportunity in research. We just need to invest.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Any final thoughts? Initially I wanted to talk to you 5-6 minutes, but you're so inspiring, and for you to share with us all this knowledge it's exciting, and I thank you. But any final thoughts?
Well, what I'm doing here, I'm doing a service to my country. You asked me about my service from another capacity. I'm here as president of the Cyprus Institute, and I think this is my obligation to really, through this capacity, to use the Cyprus Institute, which I lead, as really the vehicle to showcase what you can do in this country for Cyprus and Greece, for that matter, as well.
Will you consider running again or no?
I'm actually doing a great job here with the Cyprus Institute. Thank you very much for the offer.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.